Hello and welcome back to Will I Vike It. I'm your host Craig, and today my guest is Eleanor from Forage the Fells. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. We've managed to dodge the rain, but we've been out. We've done a bit of foraging, which we'll get into in a little while. I think David's about to join us.
He's brought us a bouquet.
Special guest on the podcast. Returning guest. Go on.
What
We've
have
only
you
just.
brought us?
Oh, this is what you thought was the.
Valerian, perhaps some of that. Have a look. There's two different sorts of stuff there.
It's like a test in person, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Valerian? Was it near the ditch? Well, no, there is. You've got some Angelica in there as
There's some
well.
Angelica
Yeah,
as
it's a
well,
mix.
Which the clumpy ones.
So Angelica
Is
is
with little
more
bundles. Yeah.
is like an umbrella, so umbrella
Yeah.
for family, and then Valerian, kind of a lot more
Oh, there you
frothy
go.
in the
Flying
flowers.
test on the podcast.
Good
Yeah.
ball. Thank you. We'll add it to the display.
There you go.
I was going to start again, but we could just leave
Nice
that in if
little,
you like.
yeah.
Yeah.
No worry. Been for a walk.
Yes, so we've done some foraging. So yeah, David was just trying to find out what something was that grows in the lane just around the corner. But we can go into that in a bit. Maybe we start by you can tell people what it is you do. I'm sure they can guess. There's a clue.
So I am a professional forager. I take people on guided walks through various environments, and I show them wild plants that they can eat or use in medicine, and fungi and seaweed, and broad spectrum of edible species, and throughout the country, but mainly in the Lake District.
And I came across you because you were involved with the folk music weekend at Moorforge.
Yeah. So I also do a bit of festival work. So I do short little workshops in between the music, and beautiful site that Moorforge is. He's left it nice and untamed, which is what we like. Lovely hedgerow plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did your journey into foraging begin?
So I always have a lovely little story. I get asked this quite a lot.
I'm sure, yeah.
I was having a lovely walk near to Loughrig, which is quite a small fell in the Central Range, kind of near to Ambleside. And it was a beautiful day, kind of sunny, mix of showers. I got a little bit lost on the fell, and it's quite an easy fell, but it was one of those days, lots of paths up there.
Yeah.
And I made my way back down to the woods, and I came across this really beautiful dryad saddle pheasant's back mushroom, which is it's a huge mushroom that you'll know it when you see it. It's absolutely stunning, and it smells a bit like watermelon, and I just had to know what it was. So I took it home and did some research, went down a rabbit hole, and here I am now.
So did you ever do any courses in it, or is it all self-taught?
It's all self-taught, so I've absorbed a lot of knowledge of other very knowledgeable foragers, particularly Mark Williams, Galloway Wild Foods, kind of a big name in the foraging world, and various courses kind of throughout the years, but nothing official, nothing, no degrees or anything like that. All self-taught, books and rabbit holes. Late night rabbit holes. Yeah.
So what makes foraging in the Lake District unique to other parts of the country? Is there anything you find here that you don't find elsewhere?
I think it's that mixture of environments. You could never get bored in the Lake District with foraging. That you could be at the coast picking sea vegetables, and then head inland and looking at the various alpine plants that grow, particularly kind of Borrowdale side. There's just a vast array of environments, and there's farmland, upland. That's what I love about it so much.
And the weather is
And the weather keeps
very
things nice and fresh.
Yeah, it was sunny when I arrived yesterday. It's now absolutely chucking it down, as you can probably hear.
Little ambience, soothing.
We're almost having a shout over the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any particular favourite forageable items?
My first love will always be mushrooms. I just think they've given us so much throughout history, and yeah, it will always be mushrooms. I mean, particular favourites would be things like hen of the woods. I
Yeah.
absolutely love, and the taste of it as well, and just the joy you feel upon finding one. So the Japanese word, I don't know if you know, is maitake, which is a dancing mushroom,
Yeah.
because you do a little dance when you find it.
All right.
Because you're that thrilled. It's kind of a very Japanese sort of thing.
Is that like the metal detectors doing
Yes.
the
Yeah. The gold dance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will always be mushrooms.
Yeah.
And the variety of them. Yeah.
Which we did find. I think you've got one, haven't you, with us? So we did
Yeah,
find on the
literally in my
walk.
basket.
Probably a good time to bring that up. Because I don't really, anyone that listens probably knows already, but I don't know a massive amount of mushrooms because I'm not a big mushroom fan. So you were trying to teach me a bit today. We didn't find many.
It might be in your basket actually. I don't know.
Have we lost it?
Oh, I don't know. It's hidden. And we found 3, I think. 3 mushrooms in total. No, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Hidden. Yeah, so I mean, as I was explaining, quite a common one. It's all squished now.
Yeah.
Bottom of the basket.
Not the best.
I was saying I'm not a very clean forager. I'm not a kind of box sort of person, unless it's something that needs to be treated with respect, like a chanterelle. But this is a brittle gill mushroom, and yeah, very common species. Yeah, kind of grows a variety of environments. This particular one, you could just say it's purple brittle gill. Yeah, it's for an edible. So pop that on the table.
Where do we get to? Have you ever found anything that's particularly rare?
Yes, I have found when I was doing some surveying work with the National Trust, that was down at Hardcastle Crags,
Yeah.
kind of near to Hebden Bridge, and we found quite a rare Enteloma species. So that's kind of the pink gill species, and it's not yet named. So I found it with a really cool guy called Peachy Steve, who works down there. And yeah, we were on the hunt for it for 2 days, and we found it. And yeah, it's a really good moment. So I need to find out what he's named it, if it is the very rare one that he's found. But yeah, and then amongst the pink gills on that day, we were finding quite a lot of a pink gill that smells like bubblegum. So it's very
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enteloma hoshtereti, but yeah, might be wrong there.
Do you have anything that's like on a wish list, something you'd love to find that you've not found yet?
I have not yet found a morel mushroom.
No?
And that makes me very sad on a daily basis. So it's quite a big thing in America. There's like this annual kind of morel hunt and alert system. And they are found generally around March, April time. And they should grow around here. They do like limestone.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
They maybe not grow.
But yeah, whether it's the destruction of the environment, still their preferred environment, why not finding so many. But you can also find them on wood chip, particular types of wood chip. So it's really good to look in supermarket car parks for them. So you see a lot of foragers around March, April time, just like that, wandering around supermarket car parks, kind of checking in the verges.
That's bizarre.
That's for morel mushrooms, yeah.
Well, we've had, I'd mentioned to you earlier, we've had stuff come up in the compost, and they do.
You find a way. Always finds a way. But yeah, it's a particular type of wood chip. Not all. Definitely worth looking because they are very tasty. So I've heard.
I'm going to ask you something that I always get asked now is, have you ever had anything that's made you ill?
Honestly, no, I've not. I have been very lucky. I've not poisoned anyone. But I think we were talking earlier about that you can think that you are ill because you're so scared. As a beginner, you're so worried about what you've just put on your plate that you can get yourself into a kind of anxious, kind of stomach-turning mess. And and you're not actually ill. It's just, beginner's fear. but luckily I've not had the real
Which is
sickness.
that's the fun of it, though, right?
The fun, the
The
fear.
buzz.
Yeah, yeah.
It might
Can't
kill
let
me,
that
might not. Let's find out.
keep coming back.
Yeah.
To that, I guess. Definitely, yeah.
Oh, it didn't kill me. I'm not eating those again. uh, um, yeah, I've seen on your bio you described yourself as a mad scientist cook. I am quoting here, people. So can you share something like a culinary experiment you've done that kind of fits in with that description?
I am getting very into the kind of funky fermenting you'd find at maybe, I don't know, Nomo, the Copenhagen,
Yeah.
very famous restaurant. So fermented hen of the woods, and then I've tried to candy that. Did not turn out so well. There's an excellent forager, Craig Worrell, who's based in Leeds, and he's just so great with doing these funky things but making them actually work. Whereas for me, it's the wasting of that precious mushroom
Yeah.
that saddens me. But you've got to experiment, or you're never going to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same when you make mead. Like initially, I was always scared to make mead because of the cost of the honey, and like if it
yeah.
goes wrong, that's a big waste.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get.
It's taking those losses though, and yeah. It
Sometimes you
hurts.
still eat or drink it anyway, though,
Yeah.
right?
Turn into vinegar. I
Yeah.
don't know. Just sweet vinegar.
I will like this if I drink enough of it.
Gasoline. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you share any of your favorite foraging recipes?
I do love baking. That is
Yeah.
something that I learned from my mum, and from a young age. And even if it wasn't including wild ingredients, the baking side has always been there. So to play around with wild food within baking, that's kind of something that I started doing early on in my foraging journey.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about sort of spiced cake before, something that I always
Yes.
love to do, and just playing around with different fruits and nuts in there. In terms of recipes, I've said this a couple of times today, can be quite lazy in my foraging, and I love to just chuck some fruit into vodka and see what happens. So
What can go wrong?
what
It's
could
fine.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, zero risk. Keeping everything clean though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to play around with what we call our British kind of wild spices. Yeah, it saves you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Rather than buying from the supermarket, and I think the flavours far better as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were foraging this afternoon, so we are kind of feeling like we're repeating ourselves a bit, I guess. But I think it's worth, like, I learned quite a lot off you this afternoon. Don't test me. But we could, yeah. But it might be worth going through some of the things we found. Like when David came in, he had some Valeria and some Angelica, which I found some yesterday. It's the first time I've seen it. And I wasn't 100% sure, but you've confirmed for me today that that is what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very good environment for it around here. So quite a lot of ditches because of the agriculture, and Valerian loves to have wet feet. So yeah, kind of in terms of the environment, that's ticking the boxes.
Yeah.
The colour as well, so that lovely kind of lilac flushing and then deep purple stem, really, really pretty.
Yeah.
But you can have some green in the stem as well, so it's not kind of one rule there. Generally with Valerian, we would use the root in herbalism, and it's just really great for treating anxiety, sleep disorders. So a strong tincture of valerian would be really good for someone having a panic attack. I'm not a doctor, but that's generally how it's prescribed. And
we should probably, in case anyone doesn't realise, kind of warn against the uprooting of things.
Yes, that is a really good point.
Public land.
So you
frowned
do need
upon.
permission from the landowner, and that even includes vergers. So that would be the council or the highways agency. You would need permission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just in case anyone goes, I found some valerian, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
So you
true.
do need to be careful with uprooting
And
things.
medicine as well, you know, always kind of seek advice from a professional and dosage. Yeah. But,
Oh, and it goes without saying, make sure you know what you're picking. Blah, blah. Yeah.
yeah.
Blah blah blah. You've heard me say it before.
Tick, tick, tick.
Yes. Yeah. So that one, because David's done the classic thing of picking one thing, but actually he's picked two. So yeah, he's got some Angelica there as well.
And then we also got some Angelica broccoli couple in here. So there we go. It's quite a big one, isn't it? So Angelica is again part of this umbrella family that we do want to be very wary of as a beginner. Angelica is it's very fragrant, as we smelt today, kind of one of its distinguishing features, and pretty much hairless as well, which sets it apart from giant hogweed and common hogweed. Common hogweed will have hair all over. It's like kind of bristly old man sort of hair.
Yeah.
And giant hogweed will only have hair on the stem. So yeah, that's a really these are the ticks, the mental.
Because that was the first thing I saw it, and I thought, hang on a minute, hogweed's not purple, and that was what drew my attention to it initially.
Sometimes you can get splashes of purple.
Yeah.
But more so in giant hogweed. But yeah, it's just a really beautiful kind of rich plum colour.
Yeah.
And the leaves as well, very different, almost like rose, similar to rose.
Yeah.
In that way. But yeah, and we've also got the broccoli. Do a little unpeel here. And this is something that you can steam and just treat as you would 10%
Looks
broccoli.
just like broccoli.
Yeah. Grill it, bit of olive oil, and you can also do that with common hogweed. Like I say, this is not a beginner-friendly family. I didn't start eating these until a couple of years into my foraging journey, just because I need to build up that confidence. But yeah, the reward is there if you do your homework, because it's really, really tasty when you get them young.
Yeah.
Wild greens.
Yeah, so that's a brand new one to me. I've not come across that. I'm trying to remember what else we found now. So we've got meadowsweet, which I usually put it into mead, make tea with it. It's an alternative to aspirin as a headache remedy. So when you're drinking your mead, you're getting your hangover cure at the same time, right? It's health food.
You need to have a lot of meadowsweet for it to be the same as aspirin, but yeah. Just graze like a goat the day after,
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I've also got a little bit of yarrow, which is one of my personal favourites. Do you do anything with this?
I've used it to make beer. Going the root of alcohol again, I'm afraid. And tea as well.
The theme here.
Yeah, it's good tea. Funny thing is in our old house, we deliberately grew it from seed. I was keen to then move it to my new house. And when I got there, I realised half the lawn was yarrow. So I didn't need to do that.
I mean, it's a really common grassland species. And to me, it goes perfectly with lamb.
I've not tried that.
Well, you're having lamb tomorrow?
Got lamb tomorrow.
I think the smell of it when you rub the leaf, you know the smell well, but like rosemary, thyme, and you could layer some large yarrow leaves down and place your lamb on top. Stop it sticking.
What are you doing tomorrow? My cookery course.
But it's in tea as well. It's
a nice tea.
Really, really nice, really fragrant, and it's also an antiseptic as well. So during World War One, earlier wars, Boer Wars, they would use this to place over wounds and wrap a bandage. So it helps to dry up the area, the wound. Yeah, really lovely plant, really great sort of women's herb as well, for menstrual problems or just balancing hormones. So, lovely one to know, yarrow.
Yeah. We've got some seeds there as well from the hogweed. I'm just thinking that kind of ties in with, we mentioned hogweed with the Angelica.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names. The cogs are turning, guys.
Ready for food. So common hogweed. So we've got it at the two different stages here actually. Common hogweed seed is one of my favourite ingredients. So at the green stage, it's got a really lovely coriander sort of taste to it. So it goes really well in Mexican food, salsas, really, really great. And at the later stage, when it's dried a bit, it's cardamom, orange sort of flavours, and I was saying really great in infusions. You're going to get more from it by infusing it in something like a cream or in an oil, something like that.
It's pungent, is how I'd describe it.
very
It's got a
pungent,
really strong
yeah.
flavour to it. Yeah.
It does. If you are going to be kind of using it in cooking, then we do need to cook it first, just because there are the phytophotons in there. I mean, if you just have a very small amount, it's not going to do serious damage. But yeah, generally you need to cook it, and that can be with heat or you know, something like a little lemon juice would also cook it in some way. So lovely common hogweed.
So you'd have to do that if you were infusing alcohol?
The alcohol would break it down
Yeah,
enough.
there you go. Good to know.
Yeah. And what else do we have?
We found some mint, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. There's two
Which was
different
just growing
types,
in.
isn't it?
Yeah, we had the, what did you call it? The water mint.
Water mint, yeah,
Yeah.
which didn't taste that good.
No, it's not the best, but it's milder than normal mint, isn't it? Normally.
It had gone over quite a bit, so
Yeah.
generally the water mint I get very short, and it won't have yet flowered. And yeah, that's it wasn't as harsh as it was. It was almost chemically when we tasted it before.
It was growing next to a railway track.
Yeah, it was
with
like
a
kind of sludgy pond.
Sludgy
just
pond with a few fish in it, so probably not the best spot to
confused,
forage.
Yeah, but and then we've also got the sort of spearmint, or maybe a hybrid of spearmint. We're thinking has escaped in some way.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
But a lot milder flavour on that one.
Yeah, because that was growing next to the Himalayan balsam,
Yes, yeah.
which I think is another good thing that might be worth mentioning, because I didn't know you could eat it for a start.
It's yeah, I mean it is a big issue in this country. It's kind of brought over sort of mid 1800s as an ornamental plant from the Himalayas, and I mean it smells beautiful. We were walking along the lane, and it was I don't know, it's quite heady, wasn't it? Like with the sun was bringing the
and where it
smell
grows,
out.
it's prolific, which is the problem, isn't it?
Yes,
Just
yeah, and it is becoming a big issue. As I was saying, a lot of communities are doing balsam bashes to try and keep it under control, but you know, it is up to the landowner, really. There are laws that say that you are not allowed to transport it or transplant it in any way, and really when we are collecting it, if we are going to collect it to use in cooking, then we need to be extremely careful. So you know, putting it into a basket and making sure that it's not going to spread. Even lining your basket with a carrier bag would be far better. Just so we're not risking it spreading it even further. In terms of eating it though, the flowers look really great as a garnish. You could put them again into alcohol, infuse them, make a really nice Himalayan balsam gin, would be really lovely. And then the young shoots are really tender, and you could use those as kind of rhubarb substitutes, would be really nice. So yeah, kind of sizzle them, a little bit of honey over would be really lovely.
yeah.
Big issue, so kind of encouraged to eat them, but be careful when you're harvesting them, definitely. Another one that not a lot of people know is an invasive is pineapple weed. So it's in the chamomile family, but it's actually outcompeting our natural wild chamomile. So yeah, it
Does smell lovely though.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it smells like pineapples,
tropical.
obviously, from the name.
Could be on a beach location. Yeah. So yeah, again, it's one that you can't pick too much of it.
Yeah.
Because you are actually doing benefits. But generally, with any of the other species, you know, I'd always say don't pick more than a third, and even that, you know, that's going to be in an appropriate situation.
Yeah.
Definitely. With a mushroom, if there's only one mushroom there, then leave it. Would be the rule, unless you know you do want to do further research.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was there anything else we got? We got some apples, which are quite sour. We did try them.
Quite light.
Yeah.
It's like
Nice
palate
flavour.
cleanser.
Yeah. And these are your proper reenactment sized apples.
They're pink ladies.
Yes. Is that everything we got? Oh, there was some plantain as well, wasn't there? Some narrow leaf plantain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't see any of that.
somewhere in there.
Yeah. And we just got so
I'm
much,
being
such
dripped on.
abundance.
Yeah.
Oh, and cob nuts.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are quite milky at that stage, aren't they? They're not quite so nutty. I think they're quite mild in flavour.
Yeah, I always say like a creamy sort of apple flavour
Yeah.
to them. It's just that really satisfying when you can crunch them with your teeth and then yeah, get that lovely kind of sweet pith in the middle. Or you could put them in a brown paper bag and just wait for them to become hazelnuts. Beat the squirrels to it.
That's the problem, is if you leave them, the squirrels get them.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Then you can eat the squirrels and yeah.
Circle of life.
So, I mean, it's such an important food resource. I mean, you're ticking all the boxes, your proteins, your fats. And yeah, we've got quite a lot of hazel coppices in Cumbria, so quite an abundance of them. But yeah, something we should all be having in our diets for sure.
Yeah. Anything else? Forget what we did now.
I know. When we started it, was it 3, 4?
3, 4 o'clock, yeah.
Um,
Gassing away.
a little bit of vetch as well.
Oh yes, purple vetch.
So kind of in the pea family and really nice as a salad ingredient. So you do need to be careful with vetch, particularly yellow vetch. You don't want to be eating that, but purple. Purple is totally fine. And yeah, in a nice salad, or again as a pretty garnish. Everything's got to be kind of Instagram approved nowadays, doesn't it? So yeah, you can make it look good with wild food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's about it.
everything. Yeah, it wasn't
So it's
kind
not
of-
bad though for a short track, not far from Moorforge.
And this was just sample. We could have picked more. I mean, there weren't
Yeah.
many mushrooms, but it wasn't really the environment for that.
There was a few blackberries, some hawthorn.
Kind of
So a few
classic
things needed a bit
hedgerow foraging.
longer. Yeah, your rose hips. And even behind in the willow here, there's all the sorrel
Yeah.
growing and the
Yeah.
ground elder. So yeah.
So I love this site so much. It's yeah, you could make a nice salad
Yeah.
just from Moorforge.
We haven't even mentioned nettles. I mean, nettles almost go without saying, don't they? They're everywhere. But they are very useful. So with all these things that we've found today, I know a couple of times you've already kind of given out a little pre-warning about people foraging. So where would be a good point for someone if they wanted to get into foraging? They've not done any before. And again, this is something I get asked all the time, is where do I start?
Yeah. I think it's making sure not to overwhelm yourself. And we did speak about earlier that a lot of people want to be experts very quickly. And that's just the way the world is now. You know, it's got all this information available to us. But I think it's more about taking it slow, really, and picking 1 or 2 species a month, really getting to know them at different stages as well.
Yeah.
You know, what do they look like at their worst? You know, what do they look like when they're first coming out of the ground? And getting to know, their smell, you know, the way they look. Yeah, various different stages, and then once you're happy, move on to some more. And what I love about foraging is that you can just focus on plants, and then if you are then kind of reaching your saturation point, then go into seaweeds, or then go into mushrooms, and
So many things out there.
cycle background.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of never get bored. And someone who is neurodivergent, endless supply of stimulation in the foraging world, and at the moment I'm looking more into herbalism.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I will swing back round to mushrooms.
As I said to you earlier, like even any of the mushrooming books, you open them, it's so overwhelming. There's so many. But I guess if you get out there and actually find something and learn to identify it, even if it's not edible, or even if you're not sure that you should eat it, you can at least learn to identify it.
Yeah, and learn the ones that aren't necessarily edible. You know, learn your more dangerous species first, and get to know what a giant hogweed looks like. What does a destroying angel mushroom looks like? You know, some more common than others, but kind of get that baseline knowledge in there, And
Yeah.
it does, it's just building blocks, and you'll get to that point. And going out with a trusted professional forager as well, if you can afford to do it multiple times, try and go out each season.
Yeah.
Each of the
Or befriend
seasons.
one.
Befriend one. Yeah, you can get it for free.
Yeah.
Some friends like that. I
Yeah.
love them very much. But for me as
Yeah.
a forager, people asking me questions, it's kind of continuous development for
Yeah.
me. Because sometimes, you do need to retrace your steps and go back to plants and relearn them. There's such variety that, a plant that I will have known very well at the beginning of my journey, I may have forgotten
Yeah.
kind of
As
about
new
it.
stuff comes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, that my brain can only hold so much. It will seep out
Yeah.
the stuff that's no longer needed. So
Yeah.
kind of people bringing it back up to me, it does really help. Facebook pages as well really helped me at the beginning of my journey. So mushroom identification pages, Mushroom Spotters UK is a really good one. And if you're going to be scrolling on your phone, you may as well be scrolling and learning at the same time.
Yeah.
So just to go on that group and see someone posting a picture of a mushroom and then an expert IDing it,
Yeah.
it's like quick learning.
Yeah.
Modern day learning. And that really helped me in the beginning.
I think something you mentioned on the walk that's worth mentioning as well is that as an expert, when you're out teaching people, you don't necessarily know every species, right?
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of that. Like,
Yeah.
don't pretend you know what something is. If you don't know, say you don't know. We do it with reenactment. We have a rule. If someone asks you a question you don't know the answer, don't make it up.
Because you will get curveball questions, at least one during every
Well, you do
workshop
forget stuff.
or
Someone will ask you
event.
something, I can't remember whether that was this place or that place. And it's better to just say, I'm not sure, or maybe if you send me a message, I'll try and find out the answer.
Yeah. It's things are going to look different, and there'll always be kind of new species that you just will not have come across in your journey. And I think it gives beginners confidence to see me not being sure.
Yeah.
And putting my hands up and going, I'm not sure what this is. I could take a guess about what family it's in, if it is a mushroom. But yeah, I'm going to go away. And if I send you a list of what we found on the walk, then I will then kind of tell you what I think it is from my own research. But yeah, there are people who've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing it for kind of about 6.
Yeah.
And yeah, even they will hold their hands up and go, I am not 100% expert. I don't think anyone can be, to be honest.
There's way too much out there.
Yeah.
Even if you did only do, like we said, mushrooms, for instance, there's so many out there. I don't think you're ever going to even find every one of them.
No.
Because it depends where you live as well. I mean,
Yeah,
there's mushrooms I've been given that people have found in Scotland that you wouldn't get where we are. Your bracket funguses, horseshoe fungus, chaga.
Yeah.
We don't have them down south. So I'm never going to find them to identify them in the first place. Yeah.
And going across to New Zealand as well, that was such an eye-opener, like a humbling experience. I kind of went across going, I'm going to save money on my travels by foraging. But there are so many species there that I was completely puzzled about. And particularly mushrooms as well. They've got a whole other species, weird and wonderful things over there. They evolved away from everything else. So yeah, it's a bit of an alien kind of forest over there. But it was humbling, and it was great to learn new things over there. But kind of goes back to what you're saying. You're never going to be able to know, and you've got to be very localized and know your patches to kind of say that you're confident. Expert in your area.
That's it. You can only be an expert in your local area, realistically speaking, because of getting out. But then that's another good point, is if you go out on a walk every day, you're going to see things as the seasons change.
That's it.
And you'll get to know particular plants, even just the hedgerows themselves and how they evolve over the year.
You'll be able to predict how things are going to play out over the season as well.
Well, I don't know. This year's a funny one.
I was going to continue.
Yes. Right. Back to my questions. So, I was going to ask you how you balance your role as a forager with your interest, because I know you've got an interest in conservation as well. So how do those two kind of balance together when you're out foraging?
Yeah, I think as a teacher, it's about that being the first thing that you put across. you know, we're going out here. This is not a smorgasbord
Yeah.
for us. You know, we've got to be respectful, and that's something that I will try and drill in within the first 10 minutes of a workshop or session. I think it's about giving back as well. So if you're able to go out and plant hedgerows or go and do surveys, you know, in your time. I know not everyone has the time, but that's kind of my way of giving back. I take quite a lot from the environment, so if I can kind of do my bit in return. And you know, with mushrooms as well, if you can pick, let's say, chanterelles, and then all the bits of chanterelle that you don't want to eat, all the grubby bits, you know, go spread them somewhere else. You know, go back to an area that think that chanterelle may benefit from. You know, it's not a guarantee that the mycelium will develop there, but something that you can do. Seed dispersal, various little things you can do. But yeah.
That actually reminds me of a point you made earlier about mushrooms, because I didn't know is you were picking them up, smelling them, touching them, and I was asking you about that interaction, right? With if you don't know what you're looking at, should you be picking them?
I think if you're a beginner, it's all about the touch, the smell. I was going to say taste then, but
try everything once.
Some mushrooms you can to have a little nibble and spit out, but only something like a bristlegill.
Yeah.
Again, that's not a beginner kind of tip there. I've just had a brain fart. What were we talking about?
So I was asking you about, earlier we were talking about mushrooms and whether it was okay for people to pick them.
Yes.
Because you do get a little bit of pick shaming.
Yes.
On social media. And so, whether, especially a beginner, should they be picking them up? Yeah. I think was the best way to put it.
Yes. So picking a mushroom, you are getting a closer look at it.
Yeah.
It's very, people are very cautious to begin with. They are scared that by touching a mushroom that they are then going to poison themselves. But really, it's only by digesting the mushroom that you know, toxins will leach out. So even something like a fly agaric or a panther cap, something, you know, kind of highly toxic, you've got to be nibbling it, you know. So I'd encourage people to handle them and to get to know them. And yeah, it's an old wives' tale that if you pick a mushroom that you are damaging the organism, but to me a mushroom is the apple on the tree.
Yeah.
You are just plucking the apple and you're not damaging the whole tree. I mean, beneath our feet is 300 meters of mycelium, like every step that we take. So over harvesting, yes, every single fruiting body fungi in that area, but by only picking one for research purposes, I don't think we're going to be doing too much damage.
So if anyone wants to learn more, you also, as you've mentioned already, run courses. And you said that's up and down the country, right?
Generally just in the Lake District.
Okay.
But I run courses around Hebden Bridge, and I've got a couple down in the Peak District. And festivals as well. I'm doing quite a lot of festivals this year, new for me this season. But yeah, I don't generally do courses down south because it's a whole other world down there.
Because if you don't know the area, it's hard to do a course, isn't it? I mean,
you can do a pre-site recce.
Yeah.
But yeah, that line below Birmingham, you know, it's mainly the Lake District.
Yeah.
The variety of, as I mentioned before, the variety of environments here is open to all kinds of courses.
And that's through Forage Box?
Through Forage Box, and also through private bookings as well. So I've done a couple of birthdays and hen do's and such. So,
interesting.
Yeah, can be contacted for that as well. But yeah, I'm loving doing small scale things at the moment. Really enjoying that, and sort of bespoke workshops. So I'm doing something with some wild swimmers this month, and they're kind of swimming in the morning, and then kind of retracing the steps and all the wild stuff they've seen along the way. So,
That's nice.
yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, and perhaps should we mention what Forage Box does generally, other than employ you?
Yeah. So Forage Box is started out as just Jim, who's based kind of near to Manchester, and he has brought in a lot of foragers from up and down the country, kind of all the way down Isle of Wight, and then probably the most northerly, really, and bespoke courses and butchery, private dining, picnics, all kinds of different events. Stop. So yeah, Forage Box, you can find up and down the country. The website's really, really great, and there's pretty much something on every week. So you can find something to suit you.
Awesome. So there are 7 questions I ask every guest. I don't know if this will pick up on the mics very well, but if you can't hear it, my new dog Lara is barking at everybody.
Strangers in a dark.
Strangers have arrived.
Dark.
Been with us 2 weeks, and she's already guarding our lives. As you can tell, we're in danger a lot.
They brought food though. They brought,
That's the problem. Yes, they've got our food. Yes. I think she's done. Gotta have the last word.
Grumbling.
Might leave this in, might not. So there are 7 questions I ask every guest, and then I'll leave you to get on with your evening in peace. So the first one is, if you had an unlimited budget, what would be your dream project?
My dream project. I really don't know.
No?
I really don't know.
Should we come back to it?
Come back to it, yeah.
Let's come back to that one. No, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll go back down to the food stuff, shall we?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
All right. So do you think you could survive on a Viking Age diet?
I think I could. I think I would miss certain things.
Oh, that's the next question. See?
I won't go into that.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm quite a multi-skilled person. So I think in terms of logistics, I'd be able to manage that. Yeah, I think there'll be more satisfaction from it as well. The gathering of every ingredient, the preparation, the longer preparation, that's actually things that I enjoy. I love spending the whole day in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I think the food is kind of optimum nutrition.
Yeah.
I know that's quite a kind of broad thing to say, but I think there's enough in there to help you feel satiated. Kind of enough protein in there, and it just ticks all the boxes. Very seasonal as well. And I think I could.
But would you miss anything if you were on a Viking Age diet?
I would miss the humble tomato.
Yes.
The elevation it brings to a lot of bland dishes.
Gotta be a good one though. I bought a packet yesterday and they were terrible.
Yeah, not kind of a
Tasted of
waterlogged
nothing.
Aldi. Tomatoes. Other supermarkets are available. But yeah, proper.
Pretty sure that they got slagged off on this podcast before. In fact, I believe the words I used was "fuck Aldi." But
the thing is, it's water. You know, you just eating. Yeah, they're just pumped full, and just really fond memories of my granddad's greenhouse, and he would only grow tomatoes in there, and just the taste, far superior, proper
fresh,
beef tomatoes. I don't think you can beat it on a summer's day. Tomato
apologies
salad.
to Aldi. I did use your shop earlier in Cockermouth.
Shame. Like,
lovely staff in Cockermouth.
It doesn't excuse other things. Tomato.
All right.
I'm sure there's other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's ever come up. No, don't know.
I'm sure generally it's more like chocolate and, kind of.
Yeah, I think chocolate and coffee are probably the 2 most sugar. I don't know. I'm going to have to compile a list.
Yeah, I'm more of a savoury person. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
leaf
So
chocolate.
next question is, what's the weirdest thing in your kitchen?
Weirdest thing in my kitchen. There will always be something strange fermenting, and it's not really a strange thing anymore. Everyone seems to be kind of getting the fermenting bug, but it's probably there'll probably be a strange smell coming from something.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Strange smell.
So I did a nettle sauerkraut, and yeah, the smell wasn't too good.
Yeah.
The taste was all right, but
It's getting past that though. When you get something that smells bad and you've
Yeah.
still got to taste it.
but yeah, sometimes it's the opposite, and
Yeah.
smells bad, tastes good, or tastes good, smells but yeah, something smelly in the corner, or maybe a forgotten basket of mushrooms, something like that. But I don't have any strange kit or equipment
No.
or anything like that. I think that's my next thing would be kind of investing in kind of cool gadgets and stuff. Yeah.
What is the worst thing you've ever eaten?
I'd say something like a limpet. Have you had a limpet before?
No, I don't think I have.
So you know the kind of conical.
Mm,
Yeah. So it's like a sort of sea snail.
Yeah.
Kind of
I don't think I'd like it.
No.
Not into those kinds of things. I'm not really into anything oysters, mussels, that sort of
No.
either.
As a 5-year-old in France, projectile spat an oyster out across the table. A lot of disapproving French people. So it happens when you give a 5-year-old an oyster.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
The limpets are kind of the texture of like a razor, like a pencil rubber.
Okay.
So chewy.
Yeah.
You'd probably burn more calories than what you're actually taking in just chewing it.
Yeah.
They're kind of in that intertidal zone, and you need to be very quick whacking them off with a rock. But a lot of protein in there if you're in a very desperate situation. But no, like a cross between a mussel and a pencil rubber.
You're not selling it.
No, desperate
Yeah.
times. But I couldn't do it.
I mean, this could be your trip to France story again, but what's the most memorable meal you've ever had? Spitting out
Not an oyster.
oysters at French people.
I've remembered it, from 5.
Yeah.
I think for me, any outdoor meal. So there's a really beautiful satisfaction in picking chanterelles in Scotland, and then cooking by a loch or a river, and that seclusion.
Yeah.
But the whole process, and being able to do that in a day. So a really nice memory of sitting by Loch Tay, eating chanterelles by myself, and it sounds really sad. And generally meals would be kind of with company, but I love those kind of peaceful moments alone.
So normally at this point there's one more question, but before we do, I need to double check. The first question, you didn't have an answer. If you had an unlimited budget, have we got an answer?
I would. I'd like to see more investment in grassland restoration.
Okay.
Yeah. So not necessarily planting trees, which is kind of seems to be the conservation kind of go-to at the moment. When we actually forget how important grasslands are, particularly grassland fungi too. This is very niche, but
it's your budget.
Yeah, but protecting ancient grasslands. There's a lot of at-risk fungi and plant species in those grasslands, and I just think it's a part of conservation that is very ignored.
All right, so there is one question left, and then you're free to go. So your family and friends, you've died and your family and friends are preparing your grave goods. What food and drink do you get to take to feast in Valhalla?
It's gonna have to be something with truffle based, with creamy pasta, something indulgent like that.
Yeah.
Or my new kind of part-time career working with cheese, a fondue. Why not? I'm not sure how that would work in a grave. Yeah.
I like the idea though, because if you take it to the afterlife and it's just Valhalla and you're sat there with a fondue and some truffles.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Would you have to take all the kit with you as well? Would
Oh,
I get
yeah.
the full pots?
That's all
and-
going.
Yeah. Would it still be in liquid form when I got there?
Do they have electricity?
They have
Are
electricity.
you going to be able to
Yeah,
have to do it
learn
over a
do
fire?
it. Yeah, kind of old
In a
school.
pot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be another memorable meal. Would be fondue in the Swiss Alps. Yeah, after a long day. Yeah, sounding very middle class right now. Yeah, but truffle, I think. Yeah, I know some people aren't actually that fond of truffle, but another thing I've not found that's on my wish list, and yeah, but that's more like down south, kind of.
Yeah.
North of France, going into Italy. Yeah, I don't really find them up north so much, but shaved truffle can't beat it on anything. Porcini, yeah, cheese, yeah.
And
That'd
a
be it.
drink? Drink, yeah.
Oh, we've been talking a lot about mead today, haven't we?
Yes.
So it's going to have to be a really good spiced mead. Yeah, just done in a non-processed way.
Yeah.
An old aged spiced mead.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know if fondue and mead mix well
Well,
together.
Oh no! So my friend Bob, I was going to say from Moormead, it's not. It's Affenmal Mead Hall now, and he's fond of a bottle of mead paired with a cheese board.
Mm-hmm.
So it does work as a
Imagine, particularly with like blue cheese, maybe like a sweetness. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
There are no rules in Valhalla.
So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
And coming all the way here.
Yeah.
You had to come up a day early. And for taking me out foraging. It was a lot of fun. So if people want to follow you online or find out more about what you do, where can they find you?
I don't have a website. I'm not that technical, so I am on Instagram, Forage the Fells, and on Facebook as well. That's pretty much it. So always open to a DM, even if you find a mushroom and you wanna know what it is. Then I love to see that in my inbox.
Brilliant. And thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's kind of we've trailed into the evening, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah. All right, and thank you everyone for watching or listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. If you enjoyed the show and want to hear more, remember to like and subscribe and give the show a rating. You can also help keep the show going by becoming a Patreon, where you'll get early access to all episodes, or check out my range of merch on my store. Links are in the episode description. Thanks for watching.